Yeah, so okay, now what does every single YouTuber gardener person do when they can't think of a topic? Tomato video. Hey, welcome to the superpilotish channel. My name's Graham Wilson, and today in my basement, I didn't have much to talk about, but I'll be talking to you about how to start a garden. There we go. Hey guys, like and subscribe, blah blah. That's what they usually say. All you need is this, and they show a picture of a shovel. Basically, you just need a shovel. But I'm going to start off with showing you what 10 pounds of tomatoes looks like. I just started these little seeds the other day. 10 pounds of tomatoes right there, right from the seed. You got it. Stick some dirt in a cup, put some seeds in there, a little water, wait a bit. Hey, there we go. 10 pounds of tomatoes. Easy peasy, right? Well, it's not really for everybody that, if you want to grow a garden. I was kind of thinking about getting a bit more meta about why do people like what they like. And I think people just kind of everyone's different. Everyone just kind of does what they do. It could be genetic, it could be the way you were raised. Who knows? But everyone just does what they do. And if you can't come up with a topic, how to start a garden, there we go. So let's get right to it. I will do a Super Pilotish 5, the patented Super Pilotish 5. I don't know, things things about how to start a garden. So, and of course I will use the patented whiteboard. How to start a garden. Who cares? Do you care? I don't care. Do you care? Yeah, sure. Well, I do. I care about my garden. I don't care about your garden. You do what you want, man. But yeah. So the first thing is, do you do you care? Oh yeah, I'd love to have a garden. Why? Oh, so don't have a garden just because like everyone else is doing it in the neighborhood. You won't be interested in it. You'll do stuff that you're interested in. If you're not interested in gardening, don't do it, man. Go get some cardboard tomatoes from the grocery store. Go, I don't know, steal a zucchini out of your neighbor's yard when he's not looking. But well, don't do that. The gardeners don't like it when their stuff gets stolen. But yeah, so do you really want to do it? It might be worth a try. You might end up liking it. So it's really depends on you can make it you can spend as much or as little time in the garden as you want. Basically, this year I threw a couple seeds in there, filled up an old Tim Hortons cup full of dirt, and threw some seeds in there. That took me, I don't know, a few seconds, minute. I had to go buy some potting soil. And actually, lately, I've been getting into the Miracle Grow potting soil, like a little bit, not the cheapest potting soil. I've been usually been using like potting soil to start my seeds, like just give me the cheapest crap. But just like I always say about tools and things like that, it's like you're always disappointed if you get the cheapest thing. So I went medium grade with a little Miracle Grow, but it's a miracle it grows. Yeah, so there we go. And oh hey, Kathy, welcome to the show. Okay, here we go. So, do you care about your garden? I know Kathy cares about her garden, so it's nice to have a fellow gardener in the chat. Okay. So now you're gonna have this brand new garden that you're putting in. You're all excited. Ooh. Or I just bought this new house, and the people there before they had a garden over there. I'll just keep using it. Well, I don't know. Maybe the people that bought the house that you bought the house off of, or the people that put the garden in there before, maybe they were bad gardeners. You don't know. So the first thing you're gonna look at, say you just got, I don't know, I got a yard and you got some land somewhere. And so the thing you really got to consider is I'm going to go over a few things, but we'll say, do you care? Yeah. Do you have any sun in your backyard? Do you have any sun in your front yard? Do you have any sun anywhere on your property? Plants need sun. Did you know that? Didn't they teach you that in the second grade, third grade, first grade? I don't know. But you definitely need sun, and the more sun, the better. Now, if you're in the desert, or something like that, you still need the sun, but I don't know, growing stuff in the desert, I've never done it before, but you'll need some artificial water source and stuff. But I'll talk about where I am, Windsor, Ontario. So right across the river from Detroit, Midwestern United States, Southern Ontario. There we go. So where's your sun? And then, so you got to think about the sun is not always in the same spot. Like the sun's always in the northern hemisphere, the sun's always to the south somewhere. but it rises in the east and sets in the west. But then it's also at a different angle throughout the year. In the wintertime, it's kind of low on the horizon. In the summertime, it can be directly overhead. So you got to get some sun. And so, where is that in your yard? How long is it going to be there for? So, ideally, you want something like tomatoes. They say full sun, like 8 hours, is really good. You could probably get away with about 6 hours of sun for tomatoes, but less than that, they're going to be kind of stringy and not that great. But that's another thing too that I wanted to mention, that if you don't know, oh, how much sun do I need? No, 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 no. Usually, whatever it says on the seed packet, if you're buying a seed packet, I've ignored them before and say, I know what I'm doing. I saw a YouTube video. Basically, read the instructions. It usually works, but I never read instructions until I have to, and then I go, oh, I should have read the instructions. But yeah, so where is it? Where is it in the yard now? If you have a tree, is that tree going to grow another 10 feet over the next couple years? Is that bush going to expand out and then it's going to block some of the sun in the afternoon? So you got to think a little bit into the future too. Where's the sun going to be at this time of year? Where is that tree going to grow into? So, and don't just think about the backyard. Everyone thinks, oh, I got to put something in the backyard. And, this could work for flowers too. Now me, I'm more of a food gardener guy, and I was looking statistically that usually guys like to garden the food, and usually girls like their pretty flowers. So that's kind of, I don't really care about flowers too much, but my girlfriend likes them. So any of the flowers, that's her doing, and makes it look nice. And I'm usually the architect of the garden, but she likes to pick the stuff I grow, so it kind of works out that way. But yeah, so don't be afraid of putting veggies in your front yard. We didn't have much of a backyard where we used to live, and I was like, hey, I got these extra potatoes. I'm gonna plant them in the front yard. So it's kind of funny where it was like this really toxic soil. It was like, did someone do an oil change over here? It was like the grossest soil you've ever seen. And it's like, I don't know if there's tar in there from asphalt from the from the road or something, but I was like, oh well, the shovel went in the ground, kind of. I'll plant some potatoes here. And there was no lady walking down the sidewalk one day. We were out in the front yard, and she stopped and she said, are those potatoes? Because she noticed what the potato flower was. And yeah, it's potatoes. And she went, oh, and she kept on walking. But so that's another thing too. If you are doing any gardening in your front yard, you're going to end up meeting your neighbors. And that's kind of cool too. So like people that are walking the dog or something like that, they'll always talk to a gardener if you're out there. And sometimes you can get some interesting tips and tricks, and then maybe get to meet your neighbors. So that's another bonus effect of having a garden. So don't just think about the backyard, think about the front yard too. Okay, dirt is dirt, soil is soil. Okay, so what are we doing next here? So, okay, I've figured out, I got my sun goes here, everything's cool over here. Now, the easiest way to get a garden started, maybe it's just a bunch of grass or a bunch of weeds or something like that. Okay, then you got to flip it. So what I did, I made a mistake a while ago that I thought, oh, I'm going to put in a garden here. So you got your grass, just flip it over, and I'll use my secondary whiteboard to show you what I mean. So here's your, that is the ground. Here we go. And we have, what do we got here? We got kind of, yeah. What's that? We got like some weeds. We got like a dandelion sticking up over here, and you just got your regular lawn, whatever that is. But so what I did before, or I'll get to my mistake after I tell you how your soil is. So you got all your grass and everything there, your dandelions, all your weeds, everything like that. And then underneath that, around here, and most places around here, you got your topsoil. Okay. And topsoil, just if you're buying topsoil, it's just it's usually what they do for topsoil is if there's a new housing subdivision going in or something like that, they'll just get a bulldozer and they scrape off, a few inches on the top, There's your topsoil. It's nothing special. It could be all weeds. It could be a bunch of chemicals that some farmers sprayed on the previous season. Topsoil, you don't know what you're getting. It's just scraped off the top. But generally, it's not as bad as underneath. So we'll call that the topsoil. That can go down depending on where you are, how old. Like if you're in a newer subdivision, that won't be too much. But if it's an older yard or something, this could go down like, I don't know, 6-8 inches. And that's really good soil. Like, and so you take it, and then underneath here, let's do this. And that's usually clay. That's usually clay or something hard, rocks. It could be just kind of junk, and that's not good for planting in. But there's this little 6 to 8 inch, a little layer at the top where all your grass grows. So all the roots are in there. It's getting all the nutrients it needs, and then it dies off. It composts over the years, and this kind of just builds up a bit. So this is actually really good soil, even though it might be a bunch of grass and dandelions and stuff. Just flip it over, and then they don't get the sun because the grass and the dandelions and everything got flipped over, and most of it will die off. Easy peasy. And I like to do that. If I did that properly, you could do that in, I don't know, August or something like that, and get ready for the next spring. Or you could do it in the fall, and then the next spring should be kind of cool. Everything's dead. But yeah, you can do it any time of year, and some grass, some weeds will pop through, but that's part of gardening. And yeah, so you take that, flip it over. Easy peasy. All you need is a shovel. If you are buying a shovel, don't get the cheapest shovel. Did I mention that already? I don't know. In my head, I was rehearsing that before coming on air. But yeah, the cheapest shovel will always let you down. Maybe I did mention that. But yeah, medium expense shovels usually okay. I've gotten a really cheap shovel before, and like one shot, it was in like the clay soil, and I just bent it right back. It was garbage on the first try. So like, I don't know, dollar store shovel. Don't even worry about that. Then I got like a medium shovel, and I got like a high-end shovel. And so both of those have been doing well. I had to replace the handle on the super good shovel because I use it a bit more. And usually on the high-end shovels, you will be able to buy a kind of like a standard handle replacement at the hardware store. So I just replaced the handle, and that's good. So yeah, so just give it a flip. There you go. And most of the nutrients should still be in that soil. And don't worry about fertilizer and any of that stuff at first. Just kind of get things going. Okay, so now you flipped it over. You figured the sun's here. I'm going to go flip. My garden is going to go exactly here. This is the best place for it. And you have to consider, it depends on your climate and your drainage of your backyard or front yard. Water. Plants need water. If I do not put water into my little cup here, they will die. So you just kind of, I could use a little water. Don't put too much. And there's all kinds of tips and tricks. You can go down a whole gardening rabbit hole on YouTube. There's millions and millions of methods and techniques, and watering and seeds and transfer and fertilizer and compost, and there's all this stuff on YouTube. And the worst thing is they're all correct. So you just pick one and go for it, man. So yeah, but with the water, yeah, I got to make sure that you don't want to have your garden like if it's in the springtime, it'll kind of puddle up there, and then it takes a while. And then maybe in the summer it's okay, but you can tell there's no good drainage there if you get like puddles, low spots in your yard. That is not cool. The only thing I can say, but maybe that's where the sun is, and you might want to have it there, and that's where you might consider doing some sort of a raised bed where it just gets wood. I will show you what a raised bed looks like. Whoa. And everyone tells you, oh, this is what you got to do for raised bed. Basically, you just get some wood, stick it on top of the ground, and you're going to raise up all your soil. Fill it up with whatever soil you want. A raised bed looks like this. There's your garden. And then, like, I don't know, it could be you're using like a 2x8 or 2x6 or whatever wood you want to make a rectangle like that on the ground, and then just plant things accordingly. So if you do have a little bit of a low spot, maybe you got puddles all around here, that's not really a big deal because all your roots and everything are 6 or 8 inches off of that water level. So that's handy for that. Some people swear by the raised beds. I kind of sort of have raised beds in my garden. I just kind of pile the dirt up. I didn't put any wood around it, so it actually is above the where I do have puddles in my backyard. So I just built it up. So okay, there's that. Now here we are. Are we all excited here? Oh, hey, Dustin, welcome to the show. Thanks for popping in. So, yeah, and the last little thing, number 5, superpilotish 5. Okay. Now you figured out what you want to do. You figured out where you're going to put it. You're considering water, whether it's water from your hose, whether it's water from a rain barrel, whatever. Any old water works. So you'll find what works best for you over the years. Okay. Now, here we go. Just writing on the old whiteboard. Now, what are you going to plant? You got to figure that out. So, I mean, I already said the more sun, the better. For just about anything. There's some leafy, greeny kind of like it's. There's so many things that you can plant, and all the plants have different needs and stuff like that. But so as far as like what you can plant, a lot of people, what they do when they first start a garden, they'll be like, wow, I can get everything. And they go to the store and they buy all these seeds and stuff like that. Oh, that'd be cool to grow pumpkins for Halloween. I don't have to buy a pumpkin. Oh, zucchini. Yeah. Oh, watermelon's great. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Tomatoes. Got to get some cherry tomatoes like Kathy over here. But everyone likes cherry tomatoes. Well, not everybody, but I like them. Corn. I'm going to do corn. I've tried all kinds of stuff. And then what everybody ends up settling into, and this is the proof is around your neighborhood with the old Italian ladies or the old Polish guy over there, or like people just end up growing like what they eat. So if you say oh man, that'd be so cool, I'm gonna plant butternut squash, and then so ask yourself, okay, when was the last time I went to the store and bought butternut squash? And you say to yourself, well, I tried that one recipe 8 years ago. Okay, don't plant butternut squash because you just never eat it, right? You're going to have all the squash around and you're going to be trying to give it away and nobody likes it except for the one freak neighbor that likes butternut squash. So usually zucchini are good to give away. People will take a zucchini, bring them to work, whatever. But but are you going to eat like 20 pounds of zucchini? So like usually people end up just kind of planting like, what would you actually eat? Like for me, over the years and years and years, we've just kind of narrowed it down to basically tomatoes, garlic, and potatoes. That's about it. And then my girlfriend, she likes her little herbs and cilantro and stuff like that. I don't really care about that stuff, but I mean, she does make good food. So I'm glad she plants her basil and stuff. But I kind of don't care. I can shake that on from a can, from a jar. But yeah, so just kind of settled down to that. I mean, I tried growing corn. Corn is like, I think, oh, that'd be great to have corn on the cob or something like that. And then you spend all this time and effort and everything, and you get like some little crappy little corn like this, and there's only one on the whole stalk, and you used up, a gigantic portion of your garden for like a cup of little crappy corn that doesn't even taste that great. You'd be better off just going down and buy a dozen from the farmer that specializes in that. So yeah, don't do that. And then you got to remember too, if you're growing any of your squashes, watermelons, no one really I've never seen anyone have good luck with watermelon, but good luck. Squashes, zucchinis, pumpkins, stuff like that. That takes up an incredible amount of room. So you gotta consider your space there too. But more than anything, just buy what you think you would eat, and then experiment with some other stuff. You might find something you like. So it's every year is a new experiment with the garden. Every year you will fail at something. So if you got this thing, I have to do everything perfect and exactly like if you're an engineer or something like that, gardening's tough on engineers because they want to plan everything exactly down to the exact, this many liters of water per this temperature, and then I can have an irrigation system going there. And then I got a neighbor that's an engineer. He does that with his garden. It drives him bananas, and he's just like, he does. I did all this stuff. I checked out all these YouTubes, and it's like, what did he have? Dill. He likes dill. I gave him some dill seeds, and that dill grows like a weed. That's easy to do. What was he talking about? Something didn't work. Oh, arugula or something like that. He had some arugula. It's like, I planted all this arugula. I love arugula. It didn't grow. What did I do wrong? And it's like, I'm an engineer. I have to actually isolate the problem, correct it, and it. So so, and it's like you tell them, hey, sometimes things just don't grow, man. Something's off. Something, maybe a squirrel came by and took a nibble off of it when it was young or something. It just doesn't grow. But so engineers have a really tough time with with gardening. It's kind of funny to watch, but anyways, he's actually pretty good. He's got this cool irrigation system he set up there, and he was playing around with it. Oh, I have to drill bigger holes in the hose over here so that the water pressure equalizes and it all comes out when I open it. Like, so yeah, well, he had fun with putting in the irrigation system. So me, I get it out of a water barrel. I fill it up in my watering can and I dump it on the tomatoes. But yeah, so what to plant? I say plant things that you think that you would actually eat for that. Or if you're doing flowers, pick your favorite flowers. If you want a super low maintenance, the only thing I know about flowers is low maintenance flowers, and just look for a perennial. Slap some daisies in there, it'll take over. It looks pretty good. Black-eyed Susans, slap them in the ground, they just take over and grow every year. If you're getting into things like tulips and daffodils, you got to start messing around with pulling bulbs apart. They will come up every year, but it's not the greatest. The wilder the better is what I say for if you want low maintenance. And if you want high maintenance flowers, there's no go get all your petunias and start picking out weeds all day if you want. That's fine too. Not my style. But anyways, let's go back to a summary of the 5 superpilotish 5 ways of how to start a garden, 5 considerations. Number 1, who cares? Do you care about your garden? No, don't do it. There we go. If you do care, go for it. And just remember, there's no correct way of doing a garden. Everything you see on the internet is correct. You just pick which one you want and go for it. And none is like, nothing I've seen on the YouTubes is more correct than the others. It's just like whatever your preference is, they all work. And like, how much money do you want to spend? How much time do you want to spend on it? That's some considerations too. So there we go. There's that. Sun. When you put your brand new garden in, make sure that you take into consideration the sun, because nothing's going to grow if it's underneath a bush, right? So, and think about it in the future too. Where is the sun going to be during different times of the year? Where is the sun going to be in another 5 years? Is that tree going to take over the whole? Am I going to have to trim that tree now or cut that tree down? Who knows? Plant another one further down so it doesn't get in the way. Who knows? But sun, more the better. Flip it. So there we go. That's where you take your soil, you get your medium cost shovel, just get in there, flip over the dirt. I did that once and just got rid of the dirt, and that was a disaster. I gave it to a neighbor, and he had some nice flowers growing out of it, and it's like, oh man, my garden's not doing anything. I was buying peat moss and buying all kinds of stuff. I just threw out the good dirt because I didn't know any better. I was going to tell that story before, but I forgot. I get distracted sometimes here. You get talking. Okay, flip it. And water, drainage. Consider having your raised bed if it's a little bit soggy there. And just think about, is the water going to drain away or into your garden and turn it into a soup and nothing grows? So there we go. And what else? And what to plant? Plant whatever you want, whatever you are going to eat. or whatever flower you want to look at. So there we go. There's a superpilotish 5, and I couldn't think of an idea today, and I actually pulled something off. Kind of like I do all the time here. Whatever. I do take suggestions for shows, not many people do it, superpilotish@gmail.com. Email me or leave a comment anywhere here. And I take requests. So here we go. Let's see what we got for comments. Right. So right off the bat, Kathy was saying that they're beautiful babies. Yes, they are beautiful baby tomatoes, and they get bigger. Yeah, those are actually persimmon tomatoes. So it's a beefsteak variety that is. So it'll get. They can get pretty good size. And yeah, they're the color of a persimmon. So it's not like a red tomato. And the color of like an orange, like persimmon, orange, tangerine kind of thing. And that's what it looks like when it's ripe. They taste fantastic. Great on sandwiches. All right. Let's hear another update from Kathy here. Put cherry tomatoes on her covered patio plus jalapenos. Yeah. Did better than my raised bed full sun garden. Yeah, you never know what's going to work there. I've tried peppers for some reason. We've had sort of okay luck with them and mostly not good luck. So I think as a general rule, I think the type of soil I got is like pretty crappy clay soil. But generally it's kind of like the leafier the plant, what would it be? Or just think of it this way, where the leafier the plant, the more frail the plant, like a lettuce or something like that, the more energy it needs how can I put that? Yeah, so if it's like kind of a little weak, wimpy kind of lettuce type thing, it likes really loose soil because it's not a really strong plant and it can't really push those roots down. But if you got like a tree, trees are really strong, so they can push into clay and oak can go right through rock. And you see pine trees hanging out of the side of a rock somewhere. So I mean, the trees it's a really strong plant and it's got strong roots. So if you got like a wimpy kind of lettuce plant, it will not grow in clay. You put it there, it just doesn't do anything because it has to kind of needs a little oomph to push down there. So I think that was with our jalapeno, with the peppers I've tried. I think they like a little bit looser soil. That's my guess. I don't know. And yeah, Kathy also agrees with me that corn is hard. Yeah, it's just, you got to get it just right. And I don't know what seed variety are you buying? I bought some like non-GMO, super organic kind of corn, and yeah, it was like a little 6-inch stalk. I think a squirrel came by and ate one too when it was ripe. Or then one got kind of like moldy, fungusy or something like that too. They can do that sometimes. But yeah, corn's tricky, and for like the amount of pound, like square footage of your garden per pound of corn that you get is like that ratio is like way off compared to like I don't know, say my little tomatoes here, show the other star of the show. Like you can plant a tomato plant and I don't know, it'll take up maybe, what would that be, 4 square feet, something like that, and you can get pounds and pounds of tomatoes off of that. That's probably good for 10-20 pounds of tomatoes over the whole season for 4 square feet. But 4 square feet of corn, you might get half a pound of corn versus 10 or 20 pounds of tomatoes, so it's kind of, you got to kind of do the farmer math in your head for that one. Oh, okay. I would tend to agree with this tip too from Kathy. The closer your garden is to your door, the higher likelihood you'll pay attention to it. Yeah, that totally makes sense, because you're walking by it and you'll be like, yeah, I do that in the back all the time. It's like all the weeds, I pick weeds a little bit closer to the back door because I'm walking up and I'm like, oh, I'll just hit that weed and throw it off on the grass or on the lawn. And later on, it's like, I don't care or something. I've already pulled weeds here and then I'm walking further away, and I'm like, okay, I'm done with weeding. Don't feel like it. I like to put the for all my garden tools. I like to keep them really handy. The garden tools closer to the garden. So like you don't want to be thinking, oh, I should probably dig up the soil a little bit more and give it another little dig. Oh, but my shovel is behind the car over in the corner behind those boxes in the back of the garage. I won't dig it up, So I like to have my tools like right handy, very easy and close to the garden, and then I hang them up easily when I'm done. So good tip. Garden close to the door. Yeah, you know what? It's I bet you probably would find less weeds like at someone's front door. I don't know. I would tend to agree there. Okay, so we'll go that I agree with this tip. The closer your garden is to your door, the higher the likelihood you'll pay attention to it. Good way to finish up the show there, Kathy. And yeah, cool. So today's Friday, so I will not be having pizza this Friday, but I'll be back on Monday because I do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday at noon Eastern, and that's about it. So thank you for watching. Bye.